There are two buttons to push. Do you ever get the feeling that everything in the realm is completely ducked up? You know that feeling that the whole multiverse is like 1 inch away from saying, that's it, forget it. I mean, think about it. Corruption lurks in every corner, be it the dungeons, the ruling lords, or the arcane institutions. Speaking of arcane institutions, I was roaming the hallowed halls the other day and I asked myself, is there existence past these adventures? Because I can't face a quest, let alone another full campaign of this chaos. Yeah, you got it, adventurers. It's me again with a little attitude for all you out here in YouTube land. Let's see. We're on live tonight. The price is right. And you folks guessed it. Tonight, I'm as fervent as a player who rolled a natural 20 10 times in a row. So stay tuned because this is GameMasters reminding you to eat your rations with a wand and study your spells in the dark. Okay, let's get down to business. I've got my elixir of wild cherry Pepsi, a stick of blackjack essence, and I've got that feeling, that familiar feeling that something rank is going down. Yeah, I can smell it. I can almost taste it, the rankness in the air. It's everywhere. It pervades every inch of this land, coursing through ancient conduits, trickling through those stone channels, seeping into the very hovels we all dwell in. And I want to chat a good bit about Hasbro. It shouldn't surprise me what they've done. It shouldn't surprise anybody what they've done. But doing it at Christmas time, that sucks, man. That's low. There's a quote in Christmas Vacation. Cop says to the main guy that, or to the big bad boss, that cut everybody's Christmas bonuses out. Something about, he'd like to take him out in the front yard and just beat him with a rubber hose. Yeah. That's, I don't know. That's how I feel about it. It's not a right thing that they did, but it is corporate. It is one of my favorites too. I do like the flavor of soda. Shouldn't drink it. It's not healthy for me, but there you go. Hasbro is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. I've said it before in my videos. I'll say it here now in this live stream. They're not your friend. They don't care about you. They want your money. They need your money to stay aloft. The most bizarre thing of all of this, though, that I've seen is that when this news was announced 2 days ago, their stock was at about $46 and some change. As of today, I think it closed out at $41 and some change, maybe $42. Let's take a look here and see. Hasbro stock. $51.29 is what they closed at today. That's crazy to me. Crazy. In spite of this bad news, this getting rid of 1,100 people on top of the 800 that they had already gotten rid of, their stock goes up. I'm not sure how that works. I feel bad for the families that have displaced work going into the Christmas season. I mean, we've got 2 weeks before the holiday. I'm kind of saying the same thing over and over at this point, but I don't have a dog in the fight, but let me rephrase. I don't have a dog in the fight, but what they've done is compounded issue after issue after issue. From the OGL to, we'll go back even further to the Magic 50th anniversary, Magic 30th anniversary, 25th, whatever anniversary it was that Magic just celebrated. They hiking the price to $1,000 for a randomized set that's not even legal for play, to the OGL issue, to AI artwork in their books, which I don't care anything about that. I mean, the thumbnail for this particular video was AI. I happen to like AI. I don't have an issue with that, but I recognize that others do, and that I have no issue with. Robert Gray, it was dirty that they did it at Christmas, but Hasbro should have done major layoffs over a decade ago when kids started favoriting tablets and computers and toys. And I had my mom actually commented on this earlier today. Kids, they don't play with plastic toys on the floor anymore. I got into some fact checking. Take a look at Toys R Us. In its heyday, when it was at its biggest, it had over 1,600 stores, over 1,600 stores. And today they have two stores, down from over 1,600. Now, they do have some stores that are inside Macy's, which are inside malls, but those are relegated really to more being a child's clothing store as opposed to toys. They sell more clothes than they do toys. Though I did understand that they're supposed to open 24 new physical locations in 2024. So, but still, down from 1,600 stores, kids don't play with toys anymore. They don't like to play on the floor with plastic. They have devices, tablets and phones now at younger and younger ages. Anyone have thoughts on DCC? Tian Tori asks, I'm not 100% sure. What is DCC? Side note, another channel mentioned that Hasbro does branded toys and Disney Marvel Starbase is not doing exactly what. Well, I mean, that goes back into what I was saying. I mean, kids don't really play with toys anymore. They play games on their tablets and devices. They watch TV. Hell, I don't even know that kids play outside anymore. I don't play outside anymore. When I am outside, I'm chopping wood, doing chores outside, playing with the chickens. Yeah, I've got chickens. It's a weird world that we're in. And I can certainly understand why Hasbro was pushing to move towards, or is pushing rather, to do more digital gaming for Dungeons and Dragons specifically, and why they are also doing Magic the Gathering online. It makes a lot of sense. Robert Gray states, Star Wars used to be a brand that had collectors, and that made its license to print money, but not anymore. You're absolutely correct. I'm in Walmart. I see Star Wars figures. I see G.I. Joe figures. $17? $17. My word. For a figure that big. That's why they're not making money. I mean, what kid can afford to buy that? I mean, hell, that's more than minimum wage. Seraphis. I still like to sit on the floor playing with my old toys and Lego, but I don't buy new stuff because Lego Star Wars is over 200 Australian, and basic Hasbro plastic Transformers are 50. Yeah. Prices are insane here in America as well for Legos. It's even looking at the Walmart discount shelves. I'll run across, they had a Harry Potter set. Really cool, man. Really, really cool set. It was like 3 pieces of the castle, right? All lined up. $240. That was on their discount shelf. I don't know about you guys, but $240, that's not discount to me. That's crazy talk. I thankfully have a lot of old Legos, and yeah, from time to time, still pull those out and play with them. The figures, I've got a couple of really good old figures from the 80s because I still have, I hoard all those toys from then. I, never got rid of them. Except my G.I. Joes and Star Wars figures. I can't find any of those. Go figure. But I think that's the bigger thing at play here is that Hasbro is, as a toy company, they're hurting because their toys are not selling. They announced even in their shareholder meeting that that Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering, that Wizards of the Coast made really the bulk of their money in this past year. Makes sense to me. I mean, you know, we're as we just mentioned, I mean, kids of young age, they don't have the $17 to go buy a GI Joe figure. You know, they're dependent upon mom and dad doing that. And we're just coming off of the throes of COVID. I mean, yeah, that was 3 years ago, but people are financially not recovering from that. And I don't have an extra $17. I mean, this is probably one of my bleakest years of gifts under the tree for Christmas. I have to be thrifty with the money that I do spend on those gifts, and it's not going to be for GI Joe figures. I remember when I was a kid, I got the Millennium Falcon, I got Han Solo, Chewbacca, Yoda, all kinds of fun Star Wars figures. And by today's standards, I mean, hell, that'd cost you $300, $400. People don't have that kind of discretionary money right now. Aaron Farr, you're here. Sweet. Oh, hey, I'm awake. Hello. Hey there. And then let's see. We've got the Weird Wizard. Used to be able to buy toys for 3 lira for a simple toy and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's inflation. Global inflation is growing, and you know, when a specific toy that you want to purchase costs more than what one makes at a minimum wage job, if I have to work for more than an hour to purchase that item, I'm really not likely to purchase it. I said this in my last video. Dungeons and Dragons books, I haven't spent a dime on any of them. It's because of this channel, I get review copies directly from Wizards. To be honest with you, if they didn't send me review copies, I wouldn't be buying them. The only book that I would have bought this year, well, on a technicality, I'd have to wait until next year. But the only book that I would have bought would have been the Book of Many Things, along with the Deck of Many Things. I'm having, you know, of course, I do have a review copy of it, and we've reviewed it on this channel. And I'm having a blast reading through that book, checking out the cards, and being creative with what they can offer. It's easily, hands down, my favorite book of the year. That one I would have purchased. But all of the others, as I thumb through them, they're okay. Not anything that I would have to have at my table. Phandelver and Below was a good adventure. It wasn't... The second half I really did like. The first half could have gotten away with getting for free off of D&D Beyond. And I have that. I've got the free version of it. That's where I originally got it, but because I never got the box set that it originally came in. Captain Crowley. I appreciate it, man. First time you ever popped in on live. Well, I haven't done very many lives, but this is probably my first official live. The rest of them have just been kind of testing. But I do appreciate you coming in and chatting with us. I want to get a couple of comments too. Tian Tori, yeah, I haven't bought any WotC stuff for years. Have the core, make up the rest. It's the best way to do it, honestly. I mean, that really gives your characters or your players an immersive experience. Rivers, hey buddy. By the way, Rivers sent me some commemorative dice. These suckers, let me see if I can get one out. My camera I don't have the best. I need to upgrade my camera, but he sent me some really wicked cool dice. Like, here's one. Yeah, it's not wanting to really focus on the die. But anyway, got these. I appreciate it, man. And you definitely have a pretty wicked cool box coming your way. You'll have to let me know when you get that. But I'm considering these dice to be immediate collector's items. They're going right up there with my commemorative Crystal Castle dice from Gen Con. I'm going to have a very special spot in my office. Let's see. Aaron Farr asks, does Battleground, where's my mind at? Does Baldur's Gate 3 money actually go to WotC? Some of it does. It's a licensed product, so most of it's going to go to the publisher, but some of it will actually go to Wizards of the Coast. Not the lion's share. Most of it's going to go to the publisher. It's probably 20%, 25% going to WotC. Weird Wizard says, found it odd that one of the biggest card game companies fumbled the manufacturing of the deck of many things. Yeah, and we've talked about that a little bit on the channel. What I think has happened is that they wanted. I don't think that the company that prints Magic the Gathering printed these. I think that what happened was that Wizards went to there's two completely different divisions in WotC. You've got the D&D division, you've got the Magic the Gathering division, and I believe that what happened, I don't have proof of it, but what I believe, just knowing, because I do run a print shop and knowing how it works, the printers are dedicated printers. So you can't just take, for example, if I'm going to print greeting cards versus books. There are some copiers out there that are multiversal, universal in what they can print. But if you're going to go into, for example, Hallmark, they're going to be doing a multi-million-dollar business. They're going to invest in, or the company that prints their cards is going to invest in copiers that's their sole specific purpose, is to print greeting cards. Likewise with books, that's their sole specific function, is to print books. So what I figure happened is that Wizard of the Coast went to that company and said, hey, so we've got this idea, we'd like to print cards to go along with this book. And the copier or the printer said, well, yeah, we can do that. We'd like to make more money off of you. So yeah, we can print that. And therefore you have a copier that is printing something that wasn't specifically designed to print. It still has the capability of printing it, just not designed to do that. And so I firmly believe that two separate, because it's not even the same type of cardstock. It's not a blue core, it's not a black core. It's just a simple card. You know what? I might get my high-end camera, record it, and rip one in half. We may just do that as just a standalone video and really explore the cards in the decks of many things. I'll do that. I will do that because I'd be curious to see. I claim it's not a blue core or a black core, but I could be wrong. But that'd be one surefire way to find out is just rip that sucker in half. So we'll do that in the future. One video said that the contract for Battleground, why am I stuck on Battleground? For Baldur's Gate 3 was 6 years old. Maybe. I don't know. I guess I haven't seen that specific video. Captain Crawley says, I'm hesitant to purchase the Book of Many Things because I have the animated deck of many things a few years ago, and there's just so many other versions from great creators out there. You're absolutely right. I probably have 3 or 4 different versions of the deck of many things myself. The reason why I like the Book of Many Things is for the book itself, not specifically for the deck. I like the deck. It's pretty, but you are 100% correct. There are other versions of the deck of many things out there that look amazing. There are some very creative, crafty people out there that have made some really cool artwork. I've even seen a deck of many things that's all metallic cards. Like you couldn't take them and bend them in half. I almost did that with my phone. You can't take the cards and bend them. I mean, they're very hard, rigid, and stiff, and really cool. They clink together really neat, but they were also like $140. And no, that was several years ago that I saw those. I had to pass on that one. Let's see. Tian Tori. Third-party content gets rad. Personally, the Mr. Rex books are on my birthday list. I'm not familiar with Mr. Rex, but I will agree with you 100% that third-party content kicks ass. I am a major advocate for third-party content creators. You guys have seen on my channel many third-party creators that I have featured. Most of them I get directly off of the DM's Guild and Drive Through RPG. It goes back to years upon years ago, back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I ran a game store called GameMasters, and I made some real stupid bonehead moves and overspent, bought a bunch of dead inventory from a company. I made a few mistakes, and ultimately I paid the price for it and had to shut the company down. It saddens me because I'd love to know, had it been successful, hell, I'd love to know where it would be today. But I still retain the name Game Masters. That's the name why this channel is called Game Masters. And I really would like to, the focus of my channel has been to promote the mom and pop shops, your local, friendly local game store. That's been the number one goal of my channel. Because part of also what killed my retail store was eBay. When my cost to purchase cards was a box of Magic the Gathering cards was $89, and I had to sell them for $110 or $115 just to keep lights on, just to keep my employees paid. But then my customers would be able to purchase them off of eBay for, if my cost was $87, they were buying it for $92. That's 87, 88, 89, 91, 92, a $5 difference, $5 profit. I can't survive off of a $5 profit. And that $87 doesn't even include the shipping, so that was very painful to witness and go through. I don't know how stores do it today. I mean, I honestly don't. I have a lot of respect for the local game store. And by virtue of that, I have an enormous amount of respect for third-party content creators. These guys are, honestly, they're what makes the game fun. Listen, I get it. I'm a DM. I can sit down. I can create. I can have fun. I can write all my notes down and run from there. I can be creative too. But I also work some week 55, 60 hour a week job. And if I want to play that weekend, well, when have I had time to sit down and create something? So I instead, I have all of these games that I, have physically printed out, and enjoy. I don't have to worry about creating it. So that's why I have respect for third-party creators. They create stuff so that I don't have to. Robert Gray, they get percent, Aaron Farr, for using the IP. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. Yeah. They're going to get a percentage of it. And I think WotC is 20%, 25%, something like that. TN Tori, in case you missed it, Game Masters, but DCC is Dungeon Crawler Classics. Okay, I get that. It's their, it's the first other RPG that seems to tempted you away from 5th edition, but read the cook start and parts sound fun, but other parts, The name of it tempts me. Dungeon Crawler Classics. Why does that sound so familiar? I wonder if I've got. No, I'm thinking of Goodman Games. Wait, is that the one that's from Goodman Games? Dungeon Crawler Classics. I can't even talk now. That's great. Take a drink. Because I do have some Goodman Games books. The Temple of Elemental Evil. That's a small dog smasher. You talk about a bug smasher. That book is heavy, or it's double books. Those are heavy. Seraphis asks, do I ever play Battlegrounds, Mr. GM? We understand everyone has their vice. Battlegrounds, no, I'm not familiar with what that is. I know I keep saying BG. I keep seeing BG3, and I keep wanting to call it Battlegrounds 3. I don't know why that term is stuck in my head. Maybe we've talked about it in Discord. By the way, if you guys want to join my Discord, check it out in the description. There's a link. We get to talking to about some pretty bizarre stuff in there. Always welcome. And I'm trying my best not to censor anybody. Just keep it clean, though. Don't go over the board. Don't go overboard. Oh boy. You're in for. Speaking of the deck of many things, are you cooking something up with the homebrew deck of many things cards posted on Discord? Oh, you know what? I am cooking up something there. I need more. I need more ideas. So what the concept is, what my idea was to have you guys create the cards. And then what I was going to do is convert them into a physical product and feature that in a video. And let's say I had limited it to 22 cards. So for the first 22 people that gave me the idea, I was going to create the physical card and send it to you. Unfortunately, I got a small Discord, and really only 2 or 3 people jumped in on that. So it'll happen one day. You know, I like I said, I run a print shop, and so I've got the capability of printing some cards. I just thought it'd be a fun little thing to do, but I'm still working on it because I've only got 3 cards. Maybe I need more Pepsi. Yeah, I was choking there for a second. Let's see. Wellington. Welcome, Wellington. Hello, GameMasters. We're not having translated D&D books here in Brazil anymore. Really? Do you know if this is happening everywhere? Sorry about my English. May the force be with you. No, man, your English is perfect. I haven't heard that. I know that on D&D Beyond they have a is it Spanish that they just translated the which makes no sense. Maybe it's Italian that they just translated the player's handbook into, or maybe it's the DMG. I'd have to take a look at it and see. And I don't have my account up on this computer. Otherwise, I'd take a look now. But no, I haven't heard that they're ceasing translating D&D books anywhere. But, oh gosh, maybe I did hear something. Dragons and Flagons had mentioned, I believe it was Dragons and Flagons, another YouTuber had mentioned something about maybe it was an overseas division that got terminated back when the original 800 folks here at Hasbro were let go. I don't want to lie to you because I'm not 100% sure there. Sounds kind of familiar, but not 100% sure. Tien Tori confirms, yes, from Goodman Games. Okay, so I am familiar with the product. It's something, yeah, I actually reached out to them, and guys, I'm cheap, I'm broke, you know, I ain't got no money. So I asked Goodman Games, you know, if they ever sent out promotional copies for or review copies for YouTubers to review, and they replied back to me and said, no, unfortunately, they don't do that. And that's cool. I mean, because you know what? I ultimately ended up purchasing that Temple of Elemental Evil, and I did a full-on review on my own dime because I wanted it, and it looked cool, and I wanted to support that company, so I did. But it's actually a pretty good segue into this. I mean, I've kind of stopped talking about Hasbro at this point. I mean, what more is there to say? I'm going to advance here a little bit in the chat. I do want to touch back a bit about Hasbro. Let me know in the. Let's try this experiment actually. if anybody wants to join video phone, that is the link to join up. I'd like to at least test it with one person and see. I will likely need to get my headphones on at that point. But if anybody wants to join in, it's so dark in here, guys. Don't get old. Your eyes are usually the first thing to go. There we are. Oh boy, what have I done? Okay. Yeah, your eyes are usually one of the first things to go. Okay, T and Tori, I totally put the Goodman game template elemental on your experts list. Had questions on that. Would love to join, but don't have camera. That's okay. I did a review of that book. Awesome. Hey, here we go.
Let's see, maybe.
You do have a camera. Hey, here we go.
Oh my gosh, it works.
Rock and roll. You've got the Temple of Element. I can't talk. You've got Temple of Elemental Evil on your Christmas list.
Oh, I can barely hear him. 1 second. Nope, can't do that.
This is why we work on
I wanted
stuff.
to see if it would work off my phone, but I cannot hear you, so I'm going to grab a headphone real quick and see if that works.
No worries. Oh yes, by the way, guys, that link that I just posted, that is to join this this live stream. I'm using StreamYard to host all of this.
Oh, hey.
I knew it. I knew it.
How could I not, man? Come on.
I appreciate it.
I felt bad about it, and I came. So there you go. You've made me break my rule within a week. Amazing.
No, listen. Guys, this is Bear the Gen X GM.
Hi.
He and I have gosh, we go back a fair amount.
A couple of years now, I think.
Yeah, I mean, at least a couple of years. I had been reviewing, and I can't find my copy of it now, but the Marvel superhero book.
Oh, yeah.
And I was going through Reddit and found a post that he had made. Actually, you were heading that Reddit, I believe, at that time. Were you not?
Was I? I don't know.
I don't recall. But anyway, we got to chatting about that, and he posted a couple of links to his YouTube. I had done a video about it on my YouTube, and we just started chatting. And about that time, I got into Discord. Had never heard of Discord. Didn't know what it was. And
it's the devil's communication tools, sir.
It's awesome, man. It has changed my whole outlook on how YouTube works.
Fair,
believe it or not, it's weird. But yeah. So anyway, we hooked up. We started chatting. He gave me some pointers on some stuff. I've given him some pointers on some stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's because of this guy. It's because of Bear that I'm doing a live stream tonight, right now.
I take zero responsibility for anything this crazy bearded man does.
I give 100% credit there. But T and Tori, I wanted to ask. So you said that you've got the Temple of Elemental Evil on your Christmas list.
Yeah, actually, I had a question about that because I was shopping for it, and like you, I don't have a ton of spending money right now, and I was trying to figure out why it is that I couldn't just why did I need to buy the book from Goodman? Like, I know 5e really well. I've been DMing since 3. Well, I skipped 4th, so I started in 3.5. And I have a PDF, just a free PDF I found of the original module, and everything in there sort of made sense to me. So I was thinking, what is the benefit of spending like $50-$60 on the Goodman Games version when I could just read the original, just kind of translate everything?
Honestly, the biggest advantage, I mean, it sounds like you are an experienced DM at running stuff. For you, it probably wouldn't be worth it. I mean, I say that. I think it would still be worth it because it's just cool. Just that out of the way. It is a cool artifact, and yes, I'm treating it as an artifact. I have done exactly what you did, and I went back and downloaded the PDF of the original, and kind of went through page by page of the Goodman book versus the PDF. The Goodman version of this book is so beautiful and so awesome that I really wanted 2 copies, one to actually use to open and the other to never open. Because it's literally a museum piece. So that it sounds weird. I understand. It's I don't know. It's hard to describe really. Once you have it and you have the sheer weight of it in your hands, it's a 2-part volume. Of course, the original was nowhere near that.
Yeah, I understand that it's kind of a part of like a big part of original D&D history, right? Like I've been learning about that lately. I've been finding YouTube channels and such to basically learn about the early days of D&D because I wasn't a part of it. I was born in 91. I started DMing when I was like 17 or something like that. So holy crap, that's huge.
I mean,
this thing weighs.
Real quick. If you go in the private chat here in StreamYard, I just threw you a link to Drive-Thru RPG. There's a group called Classic Modules today, and what they do is they just take the old modules and restat them out for you in 5e stats. So it's like $5, and you get everything you need for $5, as opposed to going and paying $125 for Goodman Games artifact, as he put it. If money's an issue or you're tight on the cash, that's the way to go, and you can use the original modules with it as written.
Absolutely.
Hello, Seraphis.
Hello, Bear.
G'day.
I like the spaceship. But yeah, no, this sucker is every bit 7 pounds. I mean, when I mentioned that it's a small dog smasher, I mean, you could break your foot easy. I mean, but it's so cool looking. I like it.
Looks like we lost Teeny Tori.
Yeah, that happens. Yes, Aaron Farr show. There we go.
Yeah, it wasn't.
You mean the Marvel?
I wasn't running that Reddit. I was just really prolific on it at a point.
Okay.
And,
that may have been the.
And then I got tired of being prolific in a place where people were being snotty, and I just moved on.
That happened, right?
Yep. People got real shitty about it, and I was like, you know what? I'm not interested in being. The Facebook community was nice. People talking on Discord was nice, but Reddit.
Yeah.
No
Reddit's
more.
toxic.
Extremely.
I can't understand that place. I mean, I get on there and I check stuff out. I read, the posts and whatnot, but I'll see some Reddit subreddits, whatever the hell they're called. Folks will get on and they'll self-promote and everybody just loves it. I'll see another person get on and try to self-promote and they just get damned to hell. I'm like, what the hell? I don't understand. Doesn't make any sense.
It's the weirdest little cool kids club I've ever seen where none of the cool kids are actually cool.
Yeah. So I've resorted to asking my Discord, hey guys, so here's a post I'm going to make. Here's a video I'm about to do. Need y'all to go blast it on Reddit for me.
Yeah.
And that works fine.
Yeah. Once someone picks up your torch on Reddit, now it's okay.
Yeah.
But if you self-promote, no, you're the devil. You are a bad
Terry. So we got T and Tori back. That's
Welcome
awesome.
back.
It was that link he sent me. I'm only on my phone right now. I don't have a camera hooked up to my tower, so
no worries. So let me ask you guys. So the whole topic of tonight's stream for me was what's happened with Hasbro. I don't think that it's a small secret as to what's happened. They let go of 1,100 folks, and I get it. Business is business. I understand that. They're in the business to make money. And they're not there to take care of families. I hate that, but that's corporation for you. But I'd like to ask each of you. I mean, what is your? How do you feel about that? I mean, what is that? I mean, Bear, I know your feelings about D&D specifically.
No. I actually have real thoughts. I'm not just going to crap all over WotC. I'm not going to just be like.
I have been.
I know.
I can do that.
I'm actually I choose not to. When it comes to WotC these days, I choose nonviolence as my path of resistance. You know, it's like
Sure.
just understand they're there and have to deal with their bullshit sometimes, but otherwise they're fine. In this case, it's not just 1,100; it was 800 before, so they're almost
Correct.
2,000.
Almost 2,000. Yeah.
The weirdest thing was I had sent Mike Merles a friend request on Facebook months ago, and then the day he got fired, he approved me as a friend. So I'm like, that's how that's the chain to hell. You get fired from WotC, now you're friends with me. What the fuck? But I think this is a bad move. I think what's his name? The guy who said men like me can't get out of the hobby fast enough kept his job.
Kyle Brink, yeah.
Real interesting. He kept his job, but everybody else got laid off and got rid of. And I think with getting rid of Merles, it's a huge mistake because Merles was the last connection to D&D they had.
Yep.
Crawford is not a connection to D&D. Perkins is not really a connection anymore to D&D. They're all 4E fans anyway, so that's what they see D&D as, right?
I was going to say, can you explain that? Why? I happen to be a big Aki fan, and that's really interesting to me. Why do you consider them not a connection?
Merles was around in the olden times. He was there when the deep lore was written.
Yeah.
Merles understood Merles was the only guy who could bridge the gap between new school and old school because he understood both of them very, very well. When you remove him from the situation, you have a bunch of 4E guys left. Now, Merle's likes 4E just fine as well, but he understood the appeal of first edition, second edition, BX, things like that, so he could actually talk about that stuff in a non-dismissive way. Merles would never have been the guy to come up with Thaco the Clown, to take a shot at old school players the way they did. That was definitely a more sort of smuggy new mentality to handle, and it's not helpful when WotC has been just as bad as the OSR at driving a wedge between the generations. It's not a helpful situation for our hobby at all. When you are the 800-pound in the gorilla in the room, you have a responsibility. Yeah. You must be Peter Parker. You must be Superman. You must understand that with that power comes the responsibility, and that is to make sure everyone is addressed to. They lied to us with 5e. They told us it was going to be the do anything we want, and we'll be able to modulize it and play it old school style, play it new school style, and then they delivered something that was not that. And they never looked back. And they've done very well for themselves. Félicitations. Congratulations. Mazel tov.
And I think one of the things that why it doesn't, I mean, listen, the act of Hasbro getting rid of almost 2,000 employees, that bothers me. But the overall changes that have happened to 5th edition, that, and I've been very vocal about this on my channel, that within itself doesn't really bother me that much, because from day one, even going back to when I first started playing back in the 1980s, that's what we did is we took the material, we made it our own. We created our own landscape. We created mountains over there in the distance, and goblins would raid over here, and and we never really adhered to the established lore in the books. So that's why current 5th edition stuff doesn't bother me, or changes to it don't bother me as much, because I usually ignore all that stuff anyway. I still take that information, I still make it my own in my own campaign.
Yeah, I did. When I started DMing, I basically was taught 3.5, like, oh, what's D&D? This is, you have AC, here you go. It was 3.5. Mm-hmm. I did like maybe 2 sessions with me and my boyfriend at the time. And then after that, I was just DMing. And I never have done any module. Everything I've done is all homebrew, I just made it up. And so, yeah.
To me, that is the essence of D&D. And I'll say this too. I don't care. I'll die on this hill. I think that 3.5 was an excellent addition. I really liked it. I liked the D20 aspect of it. The feats, not so much. That I think added a little too much choice to the mix. But I really liked 3.5. We, to this day, still use elements of 3.5 in our current mechanically driven game. There's a lot of AD&D version in there too, but my table's kind of a hodgepodge of different games, really.
And that happens too when you've done it for a while, right? Like, isn't that kind of normal?
Yep. Yeah. I think it is. I mean,
Yeah.
Bear. I mean, name a game that you have played where you haven't borrowed from another game. I mean, in fact, my last video was I want you to steal this. That was the thumb on it, and it was all about steal an element from another game to put in another game. I mean, that's what makes it fun.
So
Well, yeah.
when I mentioned DCC earlier,
Mhm.
because I just did not want to go down the rabbit hole of getting into another RPG, but Bob World Builder did a video on it. I thought, what the hey? And the funnel mechanics specifically, where you take all the level 0 characters and you make a couple of them, and then they're supposed to kind of die off, and then you keep the one and they become first level. I thought, oh, that's brilliant. I want to keep that. But then it says in the book that the way it's designed is not to be taken. Like there's a spot in the guide specifically where it says don't do everything exactly as written, otherwise you're going to have balance issues. And that got me thinking, well, can I borrow elements, or is that going to cause problems?
I think
balance is a myth. Balance
Oh.
is a phantom living in the forest. It's an old woman in a cottage that everybody says is a witch, but you go talk to her and find out she's just a nice old lady. Balance is just this idea they came up with in 3rd edition, and it's carried over far too much. That's the one thing the old school got right. Balance means nothing.
Yeah.
The players are what's going to handle it. If you throw a dragon into their way and they're dumb enough to attack it, no matter how balanced a party they are, they're unbalanced in what they think they can handle. And if the game is too balanced in its design, they will think, well, the DM would never have put this in our way if we didn't have a chance. And they'll rush headlong into suicide.
And take a look at Candelabra Obscura. I think I pronounced that right. No. I'm saying, yeah, but take a look at how they're presenting information to the player. You know, they're in essence telling you how to play the game. That I have an intrinsic dislike for that immediately, because I don't want to be told how to play a game. I want to be provided the information for me to play it however I choose. So T and Tori, kind of in a roundabout way to answer your question, evaluate the balance as it works for your table and make it your own. You know, look at any given situation that the characters or players may find themselves in, and you know, if, like Bear said, if they're fighting a dragon and you know they're level 1, they ain't gonna last.
They're dumb enough to stick around.
Yeah, they probably shouldn't last long.
They'll probably come up with something clever, knowing what my players. I decided to try my first ever module, which was Strahd, because it's vampire themed, and he has the gal that he's always chasing after, the Irina. And one of my players decided to point a crossbow at her and threaten to kill her if Strahd didn't go away. So they always come up with things I am not prepared for.
And players will always do that. that's you know, and that's why I really like playing role-playing games, because the players will always come up with something very unexpected. And I'll be honest, I stopped planning games years ago because of that. I would craft up a world in which all of the events took place in the West. They would go east.
Oh.
What am I supposed to do? So I just stopped creating the world. I let them create the world for me. I was just there to populate that fog of war as they went out and explored. And the moment I started doing that, man, my gaming skills went from a 2 to a 5, easy, overnight. And the players started having a lot more fun because it was less forced. It was more sandbox. That's not to say that you can't run a module from start to finish, from page by page, start to finish. But and we've done that. I mean, with Phandelver and Below, with the new version of it, we did that, and it was fun. They knew that there were limitations, and I brought that example up. What if they're there at Phandalin and decide, well, we want to go take a trek to Karatur. We want to go up to the Great Glacier in the north. Well, no. You can't, because that's not in this book.
You know, I told my dad, I write letters to him because he's not here, but he plays second edition where he's at, and so we often get in conversations about the values of second edition versus 5e. And I told him after starting Strahd for the first time, I said modules are harder. You mentioned earlier about third party about you don't have the time to create, so you're happy to have things that are created for you. And I ran into the opposite problem, funnily enough, where trying to run from a module was so much harder than homebrew, because with my world, I know all the rules. I can make they want to go to the glacier, fine. I just invented a glacier. Here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that.
Yeah, I mean, there's 100 different ways to approach it, and yeah, yeah. I mean, I can't disagree with that.
But let's hear what Seraphis has to say.
On what?
I don't know. You've just been sitting there staring, just doing this.
All right, Seraphis. My original question, I'll pose it to you. What are your thoughts on Hasbro and what they've done?
I think it's absolutely. I'm not for capitalism to begin with, so I don't like that kind of behavior. It irks me because at a fundamental level, people in Australia, we like to have unions and labor laws and things like that, and so having half the people. Not half, but like 2,000 people suddenly removed from your company right before the end of the year, right before when Christmas bonuses and things like that should be coming to them, is a really dick move.
Agreed.
Isn't it like a quarter of their workforce or something?
Yeah, I think they had like 6,900 employees or something to that effect.
Huge.
Yeah, that's like 20%. Yeah. And I'd be willing to bet that Chris Cox and what's her name?
Williams.
Yeah, Williams.
Gina Williams.
I'd be willing to bet that they still got their Christmas bonus.
Oh, of course they do.
Yeah.
I mean,
wasn't he hired on like $87 million to begin with?
He was making about $9 million a year. She was,
but when they hired him on, though.
Yes. Because he got a lot of stock options too.
Yeah.
So yeah, he got a lot of extra options, and it wasn't all a cash up front move. It was, or higher. It was, come on. And I think he got. Well, I don't even want to posit at that because I don't want to lie to anybody here, but yeah, he got a lot of stock options.
Mm.
I mean, Seraphis, you're in Canada of the Southern Hemisphere, and I'm in Canada of the Northern Hemisphere, or I'm in Australia of the Northern Hemisphere, and we both have that mentality. But the thing is I'm not opposed to capitalism. I'm opposed to corporatism, because corporatism has to chase eternal profit, right? They're like Ferengi. They always have to be making profit, and as a result of that, if they don't make enough profit, then their shareholders start selling off their stocks, and then suddenly they collapse, and then. So that's the thing I'm opposed to. I'm not opposed to the idea of capitalism. I think free markets are a wonderful idea. And when left to do things with certain regulations over top of them, they'll perform very well. But corporatism is the problem for me. And the minute Hasbro paid attention to Magic and D&D, it was like, okay, well, start the stopwatch, because it's just a matter of time before they do something really ugly. And this year has just been their worst.
Can you imagine them sitting? I picture a boardroom, right? Everybody in their suits and their professional attire, going, guys, we're about to get completely fucked. We've got to let some people go. On top of everything else that's happened this year. Are you serious? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just, we don't have a choice. We're not making money. And then 2 days after they make this announcement, their stock goes up by almost $3.
Mm-hmm.
What am I missing?
It's really interesting because one thing that I haven't heard people mention other than the flat number of 1,100 is what percentage of that 1,100 is specifically WotC and what isn't. Because the thing is Hasbro is a giant, as you pointed out, corporate I actually read the memo that Chris put out, and the wording and the presentation of it is just so PR, it hurts. It's just so painful to read, but it's also made me realize just how massive this company is outside of just WotC. We're kind of coming at it from the angle of D&D and WotC, but the company itself is so much larger. And for all we know, only 100 of those people came from WotC, or maybe less, or maybe more. And the other, thousands came from the toy portion of it, or that Rhode Island office that closed. So it's heartbreaking when you think about this giant umbrella mega corporation that owns like all these different things, and you're concerned about this one tiny little piece that they're not concerned about at all.
Well, they're concerned. It's their largest moneymaker right now.
Wow.
It's what's keeping them afloat as a corporation at this point in time. So they really care about it, right? And that's why it's really become an ugly thing, because the rest of the corporation's not making money. So they immediately had to focus all of their laser sight on the part that is, and come up with such brilliant statements as, it's not monetized enough. And it's like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, yeah. I had burned that from my memory.
Yeah. Well, and that makes me curious, too, is do you think that statement, that D&D is not monetized enough, do you think that this whole 2,000 folks being fired, do you think it goes back that far? Like, do you think that they knew that this was going to be the plan, and that was the start of that?
Who knows?
It's speculation, sure. And it's fun to speculate, but it's I don't know. I guess I'm in the habit of looking for red flags. And with Hasbro, we have run out of red flags that we've had to go to Walmart and buy more.
Yeah.
It's
red flags or us has picked up the stock loss that Hasbro experienced by selling more red flags. It's good for them. Great.
Right. It's I don't know. I'd like to know what a lot of people say. Rivers RPG is one of them. Very vocal about how he's never going to spend another dime with WotC. I get it. Bear, you're one of them too. I be honest with you, if I wasn't getting books to review, I wouldn't be spending money with them. It's as we talked about earlier in this stream, it's difficult to justify $60 for a book. It's difficult to justify $17 for a G.I. Joe figure. It's difficult to justify $200 for a Lego set. But those are all fun things to have and fun things to play with. But at what point do we start to trust Hasbro again? At what point do we start to trust Wizards of the Coast? What could they do? And I don't know. It's
a great person once told me that trust is like a china plate, and once it's broken, even if you glue it back together, all the cracks still show. So the reality is that particular analogy applies back at the OGL. For me, that was kind of like a serious breaking point where they, even after the OGL kind of went away, they tried to put it back together. They did a bunch of interviews with channels all over the place, and they were trying so hard, but all the cracks still show, and it's just getting more cracked even as they're gluing pieces back together.
Oh, yeah.
But it's funny, you mentioned the books there. Mm-hmm. My coworker, I was literally talking to him this morning. He has played his first game of D&D 2 weeks ago. Brand new player. They went out, they found a game shop, they bought some books. He knows nothing about any of this. I said the word OGL. He had no clue what I was talking about. Sure. To say that there are plenty of people who are not tuned into all of this.
Yeah.
And so there's a percentage of their business that probably won't be as affected because not everyone is as dedicated or part of the community.
But how many of those people are going to be tourists in the long run, right? And that's something that WotC's having to deal with. And I think Hasbro as well. They got a big head during COVID because everyone was playing D&D and all the numbers were up and everything was great. And somehow, and this is something that can only happen in a corporate boardroom, is the ability to not pay attention to all the mitigating factors that are causing things to happen and realize that gravy train has a destination. And when it reaches its destination, it's done. And we are now at that part in the destination where all the casuals or the tourists are going, I'm going to go play Monopoly. You know what I mean? And they're walking away from D&D, and the numbers are going to start going down. Even Critical Role's numbers are going down now. It's just the way it is.
Well, I think Critical Role's numbers are going down for multiple reasons.
Many reasons, but one of them being that the casuals are bailing out as well. You know, it's the fad is over.
Yeah.
The 80s are done. Now we got to go into the 90s of TSR, which were ugly. Well, now we're going into WotC's 90s, and it's we're going to be as ugly as
and so speaking of moving through decades and moving through years, so that's something that I have really been looking at for the past 6 months with my channel is, of course, I don't think it's any secret that I've been unhappy with how D&D has been being treated, the lackluster content in some of the books. Again, if they continue to send me those review books, I'm going to continue to review them. I'm going to be honest about it. I'm not going to be, this is an awesome book, you have to go buy it, when I don't believe in it just to get that next book. I'm not going to do that. And
I will continue to comment in your comment section how my opinion of those books.
Exactly. Well, and that honestly, this is and this is why I'm so happy and thrilled that you joined in tonight, Seraphis. You have been very vocal, and even in Discord too, about your displeasure of D&D. I have no issues with that because I do enjoy the game. Let me try to say this the right way. I like Dungeons and Dragons. My definition of Dungeons and Dragons is not a 5th edition book. It's not an edition. It is a concept of a group of friends getting together and playing a role-playing game, or even a board game. You know, hey guys, do y'all want to get together and play D&D tonight? Yeah, that's great. What game are we going to play? Monopoly? No, that's Hasbro. Let's play something different. How about Farkle? Okay. And us sitting around playing Farkle, that's Dungeons and Dragons. You know, even watching. Bear, did you happen to catch the intro to this tonight?
Yes, I did, with your wild cherry Pepsi. It was quite nice.
Yes. We watched 2 nights ago Pump Up the Volume.
Good movie.
Excellent movie. Still holds up 30 years later.
All the great themes have been turned into theme parks.
That was D&D for us. That's just what we call it. It's a generic term.
Yep.
But as far as gaming content goes for the GameMasters channel, you can see here behind me, I've got, Free League has sent me a bunch of neat stuff to review, and just got a whole bunch of Cypher System stuff that I've got to check out. I mean, I probably have 60 pounds worth of books here from Money Cook Games that just, geez. I mean, it's going to take me a while to move through. And I know, and honestly, it's because of Seraphis that I reached out to Money Cook Games to get some of that stuff. And I can't wait to dive into it. I mean, the books look cool. If the content is anywhere close to the presentation of the book itself, it's going to be pretty mind-blowing. Bear, I know you're not a huge fan of Cypher Systems.
Really not.
I know nothing about it.
One of us.
No, won't happen.
Oh, God.
But something else that I have thought about doing is getting some of my older role-playing material. I kind of teased a little bit, Bear, about the TMNT books that I got from Palladium. But I thought, I do all these reviews of these new books that come out that Wizard sends me. What if I went back in time to like the 1980s and started pulling out some of those old classic books and doing reviews of those as if they were brand spanking new?
Mm-hmm.
would be interested in TMNT. One of my players, the only game he played before joining my group was TMNT, like back in the 80s in the old day. So when Palladium did the Kickstarter, he was all kinds of excited. So I certainly would be interested in that because I know nothing about that. I was gonna ask you guys. It's interesting hearing you talk because as someone who came in after, say, second edition and the Morley of Glory days of D&D, what about people who don't have that perspective of like how good it could have been? I guess if I'm asking that right, like you guys talk about issues that you have with fifth edition, but like for me personally, fifth edition is like fantastic, like as a system.
Okay.
And I don't have, yeah.
I've said it many times on record, and I'll say it on record on your channel as well, Game Masters. I think 5e is a fantastic engine. I think the core 5e mechanics are wunderbar. I think the execution of them with the bloat and every class gets magic and everything just becomes samey after a while, that I have issue with, but I think the core 5e system is a damn good system, actually.
The mechanics of it. Yeah, I mean, one of the big... Bear just hit it on the head. Go back to AD&D version, right? You've got your fighter, your classic fighter that can go from level 1 to, immortal. I mean, if we're, not pulling punches there. But realistically, most characters would last till about level 15 or so before they died. Because by 15, they think that they're so powerful, and then they meet that dragon and they discover, nah, you're canned food. But a warrior was a warrior was a warrior. A monk was a monk. A mage was a mage. But in fifth edition,
I see what you're saying.
In fifth edition, I mean, a warrior can, and I'm not talking necessarily about multi-classing. Right. And I'm not necessarily talking about multi-classing, but you've got all of these different, I'll call them hybrid classes, that where a warrior can learn magic, where a mage can become a battling warrior. I don't have anything necessarily against that, but that's one of the key differences between your older edition versus the newer edition. The newer edition wants everybody to have an all-in-one character, whereas the original edition was, we want everyone to have a role, a specific role that they perform in the party. Yeah. And I guess for those of us that grew up playing it that way, it's a difficult thing to accept that one character can do all of that.
Okay, that makes a kind of sense. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for informing those of us who are too young to know about 80s D&D.
I would like to answer Captain Crowley's question to me about why I steer clear of the cipher system. It's nothing insightful. It's just I'm a curmudgeon, and the more people tell me I need to do something, the less I'm inclined to do it. And when Numenera came out, there were way too many people crawling up my ass telling me how great Numenera was. I just got to where I'm like, I don't care. I still haven't watched Breaking Bad because of the exact same reason.
Oh, come on, Bear. You got to
No, it's not happening.
I'm with Bear on that one.
No, it's not happening. Because maybe 5 years from now when everybody shut up about it, I'll watch it, But like until then, I'm just like, I'm done, man. And that's just because I'm an old curmudgeon. That's all.
I refused to watch Game of Thrones the entire time it was airing because of basically that exact same reason.
Well, you would be disappointed because the ending sucked.
Yeah, well,
you've invested 6 years of your life in watching it, and then the ending just no.
That said, if someone were to say, I'm going to run a Cypher one-off, do you want to play? I'd probably try just to see what it's like.
Or what was it you said the other night? If somebody sends you a copy of it and says, here, I want you to check this out.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Hell, I'll play Shadowrun if someone wants to run me through it or buys me a copy of Shadowrun. But I'm a Cyberpunk guy. I had a choice in the 80s, Cyberpunk or Shadowrun. I chose no magic, and I was happy.
Who here played the West End Games version of Star Wars RPG?
Dude, the number one video on my channel is my breakdown of the D6 system. So yeah,
I've got to watch that. Send me the link to it.
Sure,
I'll watch it. It's we played the hell out of that. It was that, and oh gosh, the Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf. Oh man, we played all that stuff. But that's kind of where I see Game Masters, the channel, heading in 2024. Of course, I don't know. You guys tell me. Has this live chat been successful? I mean, I'd like to see some comments here of folks that are not actually in the, on the screen with me. But how does the volume sound? How does my lighting? I mean, it's obviously a few things that I want to work on technically, but I don't know, Bear. I think you.
What did I do?
There's a big draw. Let's face it.
You opened a can of worms for me that I can't put back in the can.
The hell did I do, man?
You introduced this concept of live streaming to me. That's what you did.
I wish I could say I invented it, but I didn't. But
well, I'm going to pretend you did.
Listen, I barely make my content videos anymore. I just live stream because it's easier. It
is easy.
It's easy as hell to do. But it's fun. And one of the nice parts about the community, and this is the big part for me, is that we have such an amazing community and we have such extremes in it. We have the super polytest nice end of it, and then we have the super redneck gun-toting yeehaw end of it, and all stops in between. And we're all still able to get along. We're all still able to talk to each other. We're all still able to be respectful to each other. And we all have different views on gaming, and we still are able to communicate. I think that's a big thing for this. And that's why I really do like the live streaming we're doing. And I'm glad you're doing it, man. Because you understand, dude, I had you on my show the other night, and I got messages from people going, how the hell did you get Game Masters on? And I'm like, really?
Just ask.
Yeah, networking.
That's it. I mean, honestly, what it was, and Gaming with ADHD, he's here in the chat too. That's awesome. Yeah. Game Master should come on 4CC again.
Yeah, you were great on the 4-Color Cafe, man. I'm going to have you back for sure. I want you back, man.
No, I'll join in a heartbeat. I mean, and honestly, what has changed? Okay, so for those of you that don't know, up until about 3 weeks ago now, I've had satellite internet. So me doing anything remotely online just was non-existent. I mean, I could barely even watch. I couldn't even watch live streams. I mean, my internet was so bad that when I wanted to watch a 5-minute video on YouTube, that would take me 45 minutes to watch it, because it would start, buffer for 30 seconds, play for 2 seconds, buffer for a minute, play for 40 seconds, buffer for 30 minutes. I mean, it was just horrible. But about 3 weeks ago, I got fiber internet, and my world has changed. I did a test tech on all of this streaming. Got a great, fantastic microphone. Kind of set up my spare bedroom as a recording studio, and did my first real live stream with Bear last week. And here I am a week later trying to run it for myself.
I'm doing great.
It's easy, isn't it? It's so easy.
And I'm ecstatic that I've got 3 other people on here with me chatting. I mean, that you have no clue what that means to me. I mean, that's like I found a hidden pot of gold somewhere. I mean, it's just fun.
That's how I feel. I spend a lot of time watching YouTube videos and trying to talk my better half into nerding out about D&D with me, to which he usually goes, I'm tired.
Right.
Being able to talk about the hobby that I love. Where I live, there's very few D&D players. Very, very few. And most of them don't want to talk about it. So I'm super grateful that you opened this up and that I could even sit and talk at you guys for a bit.
Well, and it's definitely something that I'm going to move forward with. We'll definitely be doing some live streams. I told Bear, Bear, by the way, has got coffee with Bear. He does in the mornings, not every morning, but infrequently. And he and I were talking in Discord. So the intro to this particular stream was kind of my own little rendition of the intro to the movie Pump Up the Volume. And we were also talking about another radio movie called
Talk Radio.
Talk Radio. Thank you.
Big surprise. I used to work in radio. I know. Everyone's shocked.
And
Do the voice. Do the voice.
I'm not doing the voice. I'm not your dancing bear. Hey, keep going, Game Masters. Never mind the Aussie.
Do the voice.
Do the voice. Finish your thought, and I'll do the voice.
Okay. So there's a line in Pump Up the Volume that that one of the fans says, "That's my boy. Sometimes he's on for 5 minutes. Sometimes he's on for 5 hours." And that I mean, I know the movie backwards and forwards. I've seen it so many times. Saw it in the theater. I love the movie. I love the concept that this innocent, shy kid, that was me in high school, a shy kid, could become a completely different person when he got on a microphone and started talking to the void. That's what YouTube has done for me. I got into YouTube because of my son. When he was 9 years old, he wanted to quit school and become a YouTuber, a professional YouTuber. Now, we didn't want that. Me and my wife didn't want that for our son because he's 9 years old. You know, you need some form of education.
Yeah.
But at that point, we were like, well, he's really wanting to do this. So what could we do that would convince him to not do it? For Christmas that year, you know what I did? Bought him a camera. I got him the software to edit videos. Got him a microphone. Said, here you go. Go do it. And I got into it because that's, you know, he and I started filming stuff, you know, on the weekends and after work and after school. And I started getting into it. And I'm like, holy shit, this is kind of fun. This is really fun. And my mind kept going back to that movie, Pump Up the Volume. And me now realizing, whoa, I'm speaking to the void out there, but I'm getting interaction in the comments and it's all positive stuff. And that's the one thing that's been really cool about all of this is, Bear, like what you were saying, is we can come from various walks of life. We can all appreciate different games that are out there and we can have differences, but we can come together and talk sanely and respectfully with each other. And yeah, I mean, okay, given there's been one or two comments that have gotten under my skin. There's been one or two comments that, you know, they're just out for troll, you know, to try to draw blood. But for the most part, 99.9% of the people I interact with on the channel, my word, I mean, it's just been nothing but a positive experience. And it's like, wait, there's more people like me out there? Whoa, I got to explore more of this. And by doing this, that's all to wrap that all up. That's to say that doing live stream is definitely going to be a part of the channel, a permanent part of the channel moving forward. Especially now that I have the technical capabilities of being able to do it and the right kind of internet speed to be able to do it.
Well, listen, man, I literally was on a hiatus of appearing on other people's streams until the new year because of, you know, some of the trolling and the garbage that's been going on in the community. And then you talked me into coming in tonight, and I'm like, all right, fine.
I just asked you.
We love you, Bear.
I asked you once.
You asked me why. You know, if you stop by, it's cool. If not, we understand. Like, you gave me the whole, you passive me, and you did it well. And I took the bait, and that's okay. I don't mind. Like Walt Whitman said, I'm enormous. I can contain contradiction. Pump Up the Volume was a fantastic movie. I had already been interested in radio, and then I saw it, and I was like, well, I guess I'm going to radio school, and then I did. And then I got out of radio. I didn't get into radio. I got out of school, and I was like, well, this is obviously not happening. I did some other stuff, and then I discovered Art Bell. And once I discovered Art Bell, I was like, well, I guess I'm getting back into radio because this is it. This is the pinnacle of radio as far as I'm concerned. So when they say do the voice is nothing more than just speaking a little clearer, a little more with force and bringing your voice to a point where you can just communicate over a microphone to people out there. But there is a thing called RON radio. And they teach us about RON radio in radio school, which is, hey, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. How you doing? It's RON radio here in the big city. K-Rock coming at you live at 5 a.m. What's it going? Let's talk to Jimmy in the Cage. And that shit annoys the living hell out of me. And that's why Art Bell was such an awakening for me, because it was someone just talking in his voice, talking about things he liked, and connecting with a larger community. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to be the Art Bell of the gaming YouTube community, but that's the trajectory I've set myself on, whether I succeed or not. And meeting people like GameMasters, or even this guy down here who hangs out in some of my live streams, has been a really interesting experience. I've made friends all over the world. I've had people support me when I needed help. I've had people. My cat of 11 years on one of my live streams, I'm like, well, gotta go, my cat's dying, and had to take her to the vet that night and sadly put her down. But then they were all there when I got the new kittens and the boys, and now Beans is like the star of my channel and stuff like that, you know. So it's a really amazing experience to be part of all this, and I'm really glad you're joining us, GameMasters, because I think you're going to really get something positive out of this experience from all these people you're going to connect with.
I already am. I mean, honestly,
don't let Brian on your show. Gaming with ADHD, do not let him on your show.
Nah, he's going to be on there for sure. He's got to.
I warned you.
Yeah, you did. That's fine.
No, he's awesome. Awesome.
I think he'll be able to teach me quite a bit about mechs and BattleTech. I know nothing about it. I mean, that was
Don't get me started.
A role-playing game that I never got into playing, not because I wasn't interested, but because I was already so full of so much other stuff to play. It
yeah,
big
mistake, man. You're gonna have to learn to speak Kim's banging pot language, and then once you know that, you'll be okay.
Well, that's okay.
Brian's wife works in the kitchen while he's on with us, and we'll hear pots banging. So we've now made it a joke that, you know, bang the pots if you need help, Kim. If you're in trouble, bang the pots. You know. But that's what this brings us in this community, is these amazing little inside jokes and tropes that we all get. Christ almighty, they drove me nuts with 2D12 to the point where if you go watch the video I put up tonight while you started streaming, I'm actually reworking Bastard Sword to use 2D12 because I've had enough of their bullshit because it got in my head. And once it got in my head, I started thinking about it. Once I started thinking about it, damn it, you know. And that's the beauty of this community. We're doing nothing in a vacuum here, and it's awesome.
So there's another YouTuber that in another Discord that I'm in, Taryn. You guys may know who he is. He's a pretty big YouTuber.
Taryn from Vancouver?
I don't know where he's from.
I don't know. I know a Taryn who's a YouTuber.
It's he's got an eye patch.
Oh, Indestructible
Boy.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yes.
I just saw a video yesterday. It's the first time I've seen him. Yeah.
He's not shy. He's quite vocal about a lot of the landscape that we're all, you know, moving through too. But what I think is awesome about what he has done is, you know, and kind of talking a little bit about third-party content creators. Dude's created his own game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's gone out and he's created his own role-playing game. And that was the neat thing that I liked watching about his live streams is he invited the community, the people in the chat, to help him develop that system. You know, it's like, okay, so does this word look better here, or should it go down here? You know, should this ability be changed to this term, or, you know, what how should we treat this? I mean, it was just to watch the process was cool. But what was more cool about it was the connection that everybody in those live streams, you know, made. I think that's what I'm going to ultimately get out of doing the live stream stuff is the connection. You know, I had back in the day, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I touched upon this earlier. I had a game store, GameMasters. And we would spend hours sitting around just bullshitting, just like we're doing right now.
Like you do.
And, you know, talking games, talking Magic Theory, talking, you know, Warhammer 40K fantasy. What would you, what would you do if you were playing a game of Warhammer Fantasy and a legion of 40K troops came down? You know, and then we just go on for 2 or 3 hours talking about that. You know, it's just, and I really can't help but feel that, you know, sometimes he's on for 5 minutes, sometimes he's on for 5 hours. That's where this channel is going to head. You know, Barry, you talk about Art Bell being one of your inspirations. For me, it was Howard Stern.
Oh.
You know, and not necessarily his foul language or that or any of the naked girls with baloney being thrown at their butts or anything like not anything like that, but his style. You know, his I'm not gonna go into a weird radio voice and tell you the weather or determine that you know I don't have a real voice of my own. He was authentic in what he talked about, and everybody on his show was authentic in what they talked about. And he would ask when he had people come on an interview, and I'm going to have you on, just me and you, and we are going to interview at some point later in the year. Yeah, see, nobody knows who I'm talking about. Nobody knows who I'm pointing to. That's awesome, because it could be all three of you.
It could be anybody.
But my point is, when he would interview folks, he asked real questions. You know, he asked questions that he would pull a random stranger off the street, and 30 minutes into it, fuck, I'm late for work, but I'm still sitting in here in my car listening to this guy talk and ask the stranger questions. And I loved that. And having access to a microphone, a voice live, being able to actually see some other people like this, like what we're doing. Like I said, Barry, you opened a can of worms that I can't get put back in the can. And my mind is flooding with all the possibilities. You know, I want to cram 2024 all into tonight, because that's how much content that I've got.
That's good.
We'll
But
say a personal thank you to Bear.
People just open the door for you, and then you walk through, and that's the way it works, right? I was really lucky when I was starting. I had a channel previously. I said some negative things about Critical Role, and I got downvoted into oblivion and attacked by critters.
Yeah, but screw Critical Role.
And I went, ugh, fuck this, not worth my time. This is a headache. I'll just focus on my Patreon. Well, here we are 2 years later. My new channel is thriving, and I closed my Patreon. You know, not because I'm making money off this, but just because this was more appealing to me than what I was doing. But if it wasn't for Mr. Welch, and it wasn't for Tex from Black Pants Gaming or Black Pants Legion, I wouldn't be where I am, because they came to my channel. Mr. Welch would come on and do stuff with me, and then he brought Tex in, and as a result, I met all these wonderful people. So I firmly believe in paying it forward as much as I can, and getting 100%. Other people, you know, to talk to people and all that kind of stuff. Now, you have 5 times the subscribers I have, and then some, but I like that I'm bringing you into a bigger world. Like, come on in. Water's
fine. The water's fine. Welcome to the dark
that's
side
the thing.
Brownies.
I want to say that I'm not obsessed with numbers of subscribers, and I think I can be genuine in saying that I'm not obsessed with that. Yeah. I look at it on occasion to see where I'm at, but for me, it's honestly, it really is about the connection. I try my best to answer, or at least respond to, every single comment that is posted. It's not easy, because there are some comments that that I don't agree with, and I know that I have to approach some of those comments with a non-confrontational view, because listen, I'm putting myself out there.
Yeah,
I recognize that. I am welcoming these people into my life. They're not welcoming me into theirs. I am welcoming them into mine. I'm inviting them to comment on my commentary, and I have to respect that. You know, I have to appreciate that they are taking time to make a comment on something that I have put out there. And that's one of the reasons why, and I've told some people this, that, they say, well, I think you're suppressing some comments. I think you're deleting comments, and I'm not. You know, I have a couple of keywords that will auto delete, just because they're filthy and they don't deserve to be seen on screen. But YouTube also has, their own set of filters that auto delete too. But other than that, anything goes. I let people. I don't like censorship. I believe in people should be free to say what they want to say, and I can agree with it or not, but I'm going to do it in a respectful manner, because those people are also very respectful to me when they make those comments. And that is also what helps keep me going. Patch McDonald says, GameMasters, thank you for making those videos about the D&D is doomed clickbait videos. They should be mandatory viewing for D&D community. I appreciate that. Yeah, there have been a couple of other YouTubers out there, and my intent is not to slam any of them, but there have been a couple of other YouTubers out there that that's all they want to make is doom and gloom videos.
Yep.
Yes, GameMasters won't slam them, but I'll gladly make pun names of them though.
Yeah. Well, the doom tubing is easy.
Right?
Yeah,
it is
easy, and you get lots of clicks, you get lots of subscriptions. But at some point in time, you got to think, what are you doing to yourself?
Right.
That if every time you record a video, every time you go on a live stream, you're just talking negatively about things, that's fueling negativity within yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and Tian Tori brought up Bob World Builder. That guy's got his videos are awesome. I mean, and his subscriber base proves that. He's positive. A lot of what I have said tonight, and a lot of what my initial Hasbro video stated that I aired late last night, it mimics a lot of what he said in his Hasbro video, and he was able to present that in a. It was a sad thing, it wasn't. Let's face it. This thing with Hasbro, it is a sad event. But he was not sensationalistic about it. He was not over the top about it. He was a very matter of fact about it, and presented facts. And that's the style of video that I want to make. I want to make a video that's grounded in reality, not full of supposition, not full of make believe. Even though it's all about a game of make believe.
Side note, the art on your thumbnail of you in the chair with the mic and that's amazing. Like whoever did that art, I almost wanted as a desktop background. It was so good.
Midjourney.
It was so good. And kind of to your point too, on my subscription list, you and Bob World Builder are pretty much the only D&D, and Ginny D. I'll give her credit, but those 3 channels are about the only 3 channels that I'm subscribed to that I actually go back and watch, because it's like you can make a Doom video, you know what I mean? Like I've seen a couple, but I watch the video, I get 2/3 of the way through it, and I go, man, I just don't want this in my life right now, and I exit out of the video. And because of that video, when I see that same YouTuber pop up in my list, I just scroll past it because I'm like, nah, because the experience wasn't that good. So they're doing themselves a disservice, for viewers that are, that's why I love your guys' channel, because you always reply to comments and you're so based, so you say what you think, and yeah.
Well, that's what I mean by I try to really present myself as being respectful towards the viewers, as well as the content that I'm putting out there. I don't like the negativity, but I will say this: I did have fun because I made several different thumbnails for some doom and gloom. I'll call them parody videos, and I've got one more that I really want to post. I really want to make a video of, but I don't at the same time. If y'all are all on in my Discord, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I am not. I need to go see if you have one. I don't have social media except YouTube, so I'm not in. I'm just a viewer, which is why I'm so happy to be here.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. And if you do, check it out. I'll post in one of the channels the thumbnail that this mysterious thumbnail that I'm talking about.
Awesome.
It's a funny one. It's a doom and gloom thumbnail, but again, parody.
Well, satire is good when you have fun doing it, right? Like if you don't have hidden negative meaning behind it, that's what makes a joke a joke and funny and not just you hurting someone. Like,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Okay.
There, I just posted in the chat a link to the Discord, so feel free to jump in. Patch McDonald says, very respectful of all that make them, but damn, it's not that bad out there, and D&D isn't going anywhere. Hell, AD&D 2 is still fine. Yeah, 100% right. You know, and that's the funny part is, you know, as much as I'm not happy with what Hasbro has done, I don't think D&D is going to go anywhere. There's too many fans playing the game that, whether or not it's Hasbro or Wizards of the Coast that's helming it, there's enough players out there that will keep it going. Whether it's my definition of it, of watching a movie with my friends, or, you know, a dice roller's definition of it, you know, rolling up characters and playing.
Rolling up characters for fun is just fun. Like just rolling up characters, even if you're not going to play them.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah, I've done that. I've rolled up NPCs just for fun.
I'm sharing an image with you if you want to add it to the stream for everybody to take a look at. But Mr. Game Masters wandered into my AI art thread and said, hey, how do I get an AI thing made of myself? So me and one of the other guys both went off, and this was the one I was most happy with that I got out of Midjourney for him.
That's awesome.
Beautiful. Wow. So that's another thing about D&D. You talked about it not going anywhere, but if you'll allow me, I'll show you something real quick because it's sitting right in front of me. So this is cross stitch. I actually do cross stitch.
Oh, nice.
And one of my players plays a sorcerer, so I'm doing one of these for each of my players: artificer, sorcerer, ranger, and rogue bard. But like, you know, people who are fans of the hobby will go on, they'll make art, they'll do this, they'll do, you know, like the content. You'd have to do an awful lot to actually totally kill D&D, I think.
Oh, no, it will go on, and WotC gave it to us. They put it in the OG, the Creative Commons. It's ours now. We can't call it D&D, but whatever. It's ours now. So Hasbro can do whatever they want. They can dance around. They can destroy the brand. The game will survive.
Yeah.
And that doesn't affect the previous editions either. I mean, I'm currently playing the 3.5 game. That ended, what, 15 years ago?
Thereabouts, yeah. I mean, I still dabble with second edition AD&D. I mean, you know, I still pull mechanics from it.
I don't play D&D anymore, but I have.
Question for you. You said you play 3.5 still. I've heard the ever-present Pathfinder argument. What makes you want to stick specifically with 3.5 D&D as opposed to Pathfinder? Like, is there something specific? Have you thought about it?
That's just what the group that I've joined in the last year have been playing for the last, since 2007. I think they've been playing.
Awesome.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious. I had to ask.
Yeah, I mean, my introductory game was second edition, so yeah.
And that's a version or a game that I've never delved into, although I do own a couple of Pathfinder books, but I've never played it. Not for any specific reason. It's just, again, it's similar to the BattleTech. It's something that I've just never had an opportunity to get into because I've been so busy playing with other. Yeah.
I see it a lot in comment section. It's almost a running joke at this point on D&D videos to say, you know, someone asks for something that can make D&D better, and the comment is play Pathfinder instead.
Pathfinder,
yeah. I see it everywhere. So.
And I have no doubts that Pathfinder is a terrific game. I have nothing against it. It's just one of those that there's so much more out there that, boy, let's, you know, add another one. I mean, listen, if I could easily quit my day job, Monday we're going to talk about Mortborg. Tuesday we're going to talk about D&D. Wednesday we're going to talk about Pathfinder. You know, I mean, I could come up with a new game a unique game for every day of the week. But more so, I think I could probably come up with a new game to talk about every day of the month, and then just start the next month over, going back to that previous month's first day, and just keep going that way. I think that's the cool thing about gaming is there's never a shortage of something to do. There's so many different games out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm rediscovering Palladium right now. It's awesome. We are drunk with choices these days. We are spoiled with options.
Yes.
Play what you want, play how you want, have fun. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And don't crap on other people's fun. Just because you don't like it. Man, I'm so tired of that.
Yeah.
And that's
what I want to steer away from in 2024. And I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up for tonight. I didn't realize I've been going for just over an hour and a half now.
It's so much fun. Time flies.
Easy, huh?
It's incredibly
easy. Yourself in it.
Yeah, no, you do for sure. But I think that's what I really want to focus on 2024 is other games. For sure, we'll still be doing D&D. I mean, I'm always going to do that. But other games for sure. But more positivity. I want to share that around. I don't see that that's bad for role-playing or gaming in general.
Yeah. It's certainly better for the individual, like what Ben was saying earlier, like that wears on you when you're negative all the time.
Yeah, it does. It really hurts the psyche. But that said, I want to give you guys a final voice. Anything y'all want to promote, talk about, steer people to?
Please let me come back.
Anytime.
It was the most fun I've ever had in this little hour and a half. It made me so happy. So I really appreciate it.
You know me, GameMasters. I actively tell people not to subscribe to me, and I tell them to unsubscribe from me, and yet they keep subscribing. So I don't know anymore.
Yeah, well, you've got a good channel. It's fun. It's entertaining. I mean, like I said, it's. I think there's a friendship here that's been created that I certainly pull knowledge off of you. I mean, and I think you and I we BS back and forth on Discord throughout the day. Not every day, but on occasion. But yeah, I mean, there's neat things that we talk about behind the scenes that I know will pop up both in my live streams, but also in just my general channels too. And I have a feeling that as I start exploring some of my older systems that I do own books for, I'll probably be coming to you for some specific questions like, hey, so how is this supposed to work?
Fair enough. And if I don't know, I'll point you at the people who do. But I'll tell you this, I pull a lot from you as well. I've learned a lot from you. In fact, I would say I was able to take my channel to a next stage because of people like you and some others that I've worked with or talked to or gotten to know from watching what you do, learning from what you do, and then finding my own way to do the things that I like that you do. I am so happy you're doing live streams now, and I'm just looking forward to watching you bloom in 2024. Let's see what it's got. Bring it on.
Just steal from each other.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, that's what role playing is all about, right?
Just homebrewing your shit into my shit. That's all that is.
That's what it is. Seraphis, what have you got going on?
Children.
That's a handful for sure.
I don't know. I was going to suggest 3 things. Everyone should definitely let Bear know how good Cypher System is. Absolutely.
What was that? I missed that. Sorry.
He said everyone should let you know how good the Cypher System is.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Also, for people who are wanting to get L5E and want something that feels similar but has a completely different thing and definitely doesn't actually connect back to D&D, they should really check out the Age system, Fantasy Age, Modern Age, from Green Ronin Publishing. They are great. The system is fantastic. Absolutely check it out. As for anything else I got to say, I don't know. Bar weep, run, weep, ninny bung.
Oh, it's a beautiful cat.
That's one of the boys. The other one's Beans. That's Misty. Misty's antisocial, but what are you going to do? He's like that.
Have you ever had one of them jump up on your while you're doing a live stream and just like walk across the keyboard or destroy
at my old apartment? Beans would go back and forth. He would do toured, and everyone would just see the tail going through the screen like that all the time. It was really funny. And when they were kittens, a lot more of their attention. Now they're older. They're better than that, you know.
And see, this is exactly why live streaming is going to be very dangerous for me. Because I can't stop asking questions. I don't care how mundane they are. They pop in my head, they populate my brain, and they just come out the mouth regardless of what topic we're on.
Well, you said you liked the way Howard Stern conducted an interview. Remember how Art Bell did them as well. Art Bell took every one of his guests seriously. And every now and then he'd meet one where he wouldn't take them seriously and he would shut them down, but it was a rare thing for him to do. But overall, he mostly took his guests seriously and treated them with respect. And I see you doing the same thing, so I think you'll be fine.
Yeah. And it's all about having fun.
Ooh, what? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And T and Tori, so I have one final question for you. You just showed us the cross stitch that you're working on.
Yes.
Do you do that do you put that up at all on like Etsy?
I don't sell them because I don't have that many. I'll show you one other one that I have that happens to be here, which is a D20.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Those are the only two D&D themed ones I have. The only other ones I've done are more along like that.
Whoa.
Like kind of shadows it. But so most of the work that I do is, and it's a very, very time consuming habit. So I don't know that I'd ever go about selling them. I do them as gifts. I do the sorcerer one, which you saw, is what I call a small, which is it's so small I can hold it in one hand. So it'll be a gift to each of my players. But this is several months worth of work. That fairy that you saw was started in 2019, just finished a couple months ago.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
I choose to keep them, but I framed them and stuff like that. Actually, my big dream is to become a YouTuber. I've had ideas. I've even typed up scripts for cross-stitch videos and for the FlossTube community and the D&D community. But every time I go about trying to actually get up there and do it or download some software, like as soon as I start to take the first steps, all of a sudden life gets in the way. I need to worry about dinner, this, that, the other thing. So you were talking about what the live stream meant for you. Oh.
Tori?
Yeah.
There will never be a good time. There will never be a right time. There will always be reasons not to do it. Buy a camera, get a microphone, and do it. Even if your first video you're just going, "Hi, I'm Tori, and I like to cross stitch in D&D. Isn't that great? Here's some cross stitch. Here's some dice. Yay!" You will tap into something much larger that you don't even realize it's just waiting for you now. It's just waiting for you to join it and have fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's how this started. I mean, like I said, it was my son had the interest in becoming a YouTuber. Nerf guns. That's what his whole shtick was about. He wanted to show, the different types of guns that were out there, how to modify the Nerf guns, just have fun. And through me learning that process, I was just like, well, what the hell? I mean, I know D&D stuff. Let's just give it a shot. And here we are.
Well,
so you got to just start.
I'll subscribe. I promise I'll subscribe, Tori.
Me too. I would too.
There you go. You got your first 3 subscribers.
That.
Done. Make the channel.
Oh, thank
you. Just let us know when it happens, and we'll subscribe.
Well, I have to. Bear told me to, so now I have
to. See, Bear. That's what I'm saying, man. You see what kind of an influence you have.
I should just stop talking, is what I should do, but I can't.
Oh my goodness. It's been so much fun, you guys. It's time for me to go, though. I get up at 4:00 in the morning for work. Ouch. So it is. Fair. Yeah, it's time for me to go to bed. But thank you so much for letting me be here. And as soon as you're live again, if I'm allowed, I will be here.
That's going to be the thing. I never know when it's going to happen.
I'll keep my notifications turned on.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate
you
you
so
joining,
much.
and we'll see you on the next go around.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.
I gotta get out too because it's late and I get up at 5:30 for work. So I'm gonna give you guys a peace, love, geek, and I'll see you next time you're around, man. And
Rock and roll.
we'll let you know for the 4-Color Cafe. So come on back any old time. And Seraphis,
Yes.
still waiting for that Shadowrun starter kit. Just saying. Just saying. Good night, everyone. Take care.
Take care, Bear.
Good first stream, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Seraphis, appreciate you coming in. It really does. It really does mean a lot. I mean, we chat back and forth quite a bit in Discord, and I love the stories that the tales of adventure that you're putting in there. Don't stop. I mean, that's what I can't get across enough to everybody is that I use Discord very differently than other people do. I want to use it to harbor communication between gamers. I want to use it to, I'll be selfish, admit that I also use it to get ideas for new videos because, it's like putting my pulse or, feeling the pulse of what other people out there in the gaming community and to a global audience are thinking about a particular subject or how they approach a game, and that's gold to me. That's gold. So I can't thank you enough for being in on this journey with me. And like I said, it's because of you that I've got the Cipher System books, and man, I'm on vacation starting tomorrow night, and I'll be off until the first of the year. And I'll definitely be digging deep into some of those books. And don't be too surprised if I come at you with a couple of questions just to clarify some stuff that might be a little confusing to me initially.
That's so good. I mean, this is the middle of the day for me, so
Yeah. So let's see. For me, it's currently 9:21 p.m. For you, it's got to be about what, 2 o'clock?
10
2 or
to
2:20?
2, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, rock and roll. Again, I appreciate you being on, and look forward to the next time.
No worries.
All right.
Catch you later.
Take care. To everyone else in the chat, I cannot, again, like I've thanked everybody else, I can't thank you guys enough for being here. I'm sitting here looking at 22 viewers strong. That blows my mind. I would have expected maybe 2, 3 people at most. 22. I think that's a healthy number for my first time getting out here solo. Well, not exactly solo, because we did have some great people on chatting. But we've said a lot. We've discussed Hasbro. Don't know that we solved anything there, but we discussed it. And we determined where the channel was going to head in the next year. So, guys, until next our paths cross, may you all have some grand adventures. Take care.